Back to the All-Star Tournament Expert Division opening round, hole number 17. Here we're going to be playing a sniper bounce up, and we're going to need a Kingmaker and a King Slayer, or the equivalent. We're going to want to try to keep our wins between 6.8 and 7.7, so we can switch between a Kingmaker and a King Slayer as needed to make that happen. But any P0 plus, side spin 3 plus, win 3, win 4 balls will work. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Kingmaker or a King Slayer. Any side spin 3, win 3, and any side spin 3, win 4 should work here, with the exception maybe P5 might not work, but I'm not even sure they have that. So the adjustment is P3 plus 5% max sniper 10 numbers. All right, so this is going to be a little unusual of a shot. It's the only shot that I could find and get consistency and drops on this hole in this wind. We're going to use 1.5 backspin, 2.7 right spin. We're going to pull this straight with a slight 1201 flicker. And there are wind angle tweaks that need to be made in the form of, clicks of curl and either minus or subtract from your adjustment and a couple of the wind angles as well. They're not crazy tweaks, but they're definitely required to get consistency in this shot. So first things first, we're going to add our spin, and that is 1.5 back, 1.7 right. I might still have to add a little bit of that. Let me grab another picture here. So this is what we want it to look like. Now, 1.5, 2.7. Now, after we have our spin added, what we're going to do is come down the fairway on the left-hand side and have our blue ring touching the rough on the bottom. And you can see what I'm doing there. When you move that target left and right, the second bounce will stop moving. So what I'm looking for is that point in which you can wiggle slightly left and right, and the second bounce doesn't move at all, right? So I'll come down the left-hand side of the fairway till my blue ring touches, and then I'll slide it right until I see that ball guide stop. Then I'll wiggle it back and forth till I get it exactly where I want it, and then make sure that the blue ring is touching the rough line on the bottom, right? So that's exactly where we want to set up. We want to set up where that second bounce doesn't move, and we want to have the blue ring touching the rough line on the bottom. That's the starting position. Definitely gonna recommend that you practice this, get comfortable with adding the spins, get comfortable with finding the sticky spot and having your blue ring touching. It's not very difficult, but it's definitely important that you get it in the right spot. So after that, then we're going to look at wind angles. There are three major wind angles here. We got a tailwind, a neutral, and a crosswind. If you have the tailwind angle and your wind is 6 to 6.5, you'll play this with just before circle break right curl. If you have wind 6.6 to 7.1, you'll need to subtract 0.1 from your adjustment and play it with 5 clicks of right curl. Now, 5 clicks of right curl is generally about half the teeth right curl. All right. If your wind is 7.2 to 7.7, you need to subtract 0.2 from your adjustment and you'll play it with 4 clicks of right curl. The more wind we have, the more it's pushing the ball to the left, so the less right curl we need to get it where we want it. If you have the neutral angle 6.0 to 6.5, no change, 6.6 to 7.1, you'll add 0.1 to your adjustment, and 7.2 to 7.7, you'll add 0.2 to your adjustment. If you have the crosswind angle 6.0 to 6.5, needs 1 click of left curl, 6.6 to 7.1 needs 2 clicks of left curl, and 7.2 to 7.7 needs 3 clicks of left curl. Now, aside from the subtracting and adding to the adjustment, the clicks of curl can be made up in a respin if you would prefer that. So you can substitute your curl for additional clicks of right or left spin. However, it's already kind of a time consuming shot. That's why I stuck with the clicks of curl, because if I have to go back and try and reset 1.5 backspin and say like 2.1 right spin so that I don't have to do the curl, then I'm most likely going to be really short on time, if not timeout. It's just easier to throw a few clicks of curl in there than it is to do a respin here. As far as wind angles go, what I'm looking at is this corner of the rough on the fairway and this corner of the bunker back here. So anything in the rough past this corner to the left, that is tailwind. Anything over here to the right of this corner of the bunker, this will be your crosswind, and then anything in the middle will be neutral. All right, so those are points that we need to pay attention to. Now, besides that, make sure that you're pulling this with a slight 1201 flicker. You don't want a hard 1201, but you definitely want it to be flicking to the 01 side. You see here, I had the tailwind angle. I had 7.0 wind, which means I subtracted 0.1 from my adjustment and added 5 clicks of right curl. Right? And it came in very nicely. It's the most consistent shot I found, and I spent some time on this, and I will continue to refine this if I find any other tweaks or additional tweaks or things I can do to make it more consistent. But for now, this, to me, by far has been the most consistent on this hole. So I wish you the best of luck. Hope you get the drop, and we'll catch you on the next one. Make sure that you're using Sniper 10 numbers in your app. It's P3 plus 5 max.